Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Health and Human Service and Aging Committee Wednesday, February 5th to order. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Mr. Castleberry.
Here.
Mr. Schlepper.
Present.
Mr. Hauser.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Anyone signed in for public comment?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed in.
I take it everyone was here for the last meeting. Can I have an approval of the minutes from the January 22nd meeting?
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved by Sweeney, seconded by Castleberry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Matters referred to the committee today. Madam Clerk, everyone is good on time? No reason to read out of order?
Correct.
If you can read the first item into the record, please.
Resolution 2025-0002, awarding a total sum not to exceed $9,890 to the City of North Olmsted for the purchase of a backup generator for the Ox Cart Food Pantry from the District 1 and District 3 ARPA Community Grant Funds.
Whoever it is, please come up to the podium. I just want to say ARPA applications must go 3 readings, if you did not know. And welcome. Please state your name for the record and hit the green button.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Tim Pinchek. I'm the Director of Recreation and Public Engagement for the City of North Olmsted. And I'm here on behalf of the city to talk about the Ox Cart Pantry that we do have in the City of North Olmsted and our request today for the backup generator. Our Ox Cart Pantry has been in existence since 1974, and it was first housed at the Old Town Hall, which is currently next to North Olmsted City Hall, and it has been moved in 2011 to its current location, which is off of Butternut Ridge. During the course of the many years, over 50 years, our pantry has served over thousands and thousands of residents as far as food and perishable items and growing gardens and backpacks for school and those types of things. And we have had an issue of power outages in the city that the city is working with the energy company with, as well as just the need for this because our facility does not have that. So anytime there's a power outage, my part-time staff that runs the facility has to relocate all of the food that's in the coolers and the pantries and take it to their homes or take it to Springville Golf Course down the street, and it becomes quite the dilemma. As you can see, I did include a quote for the generator, which is to the exact number, $9,890. It's a 5-year warranty. It's a gasoline backup generator. This is fully operational through the contractor that we will hire, and it will be serviced by our service department. In 2023, we've had over 3,900 people that were served, 114 families with the pantry. We partner with the Greater Food Bank to do mobile food pantries as well, using John Knox Church. 20,000 pounds of food and produce in 510 households in 2003 were the beneficiaries of this. And I lied because 2024 statistics I do have a little bit here for you guys today. So we've actually exceeded those numbers. We have 4,600 people that were served in last year, over 1,500 households that have been served, 30 backpacks that were given out to students. 101 backpacks out to students, 30 families that we adopt a family, and we target those families that are in need, and we provide them with produce and food as well. Our top 3 donors are Stroh's, Fatheads, and Sabo. We've had 667 regular hours of volunteers, 832 total, which includes our food pantry, and we have over 81 hours of community service that people do use. Inside our Ox Cart Pantry, you can see some of the pictures. Our Mayor Daley Jones is to the far right in your picture with her daughter actually volunteering at the pantry. Everything is prepackaged and ready to go for pickups by appointment only, and these are all the items that are dropped off to our pantry. Our mobile food pantry that we use at John Knox Church is on the top photos, and we have students from the high school that volunteer to create these 18 plots of gardens for our community gardens as well. So it's a great community asset. We are just very in need of the backup generator. So I thank you for all your support, and hopefully we can get this done.
All right, I'm going to open it up for any questions from my committee.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
I know Councilman Kelly's not here, but he's the champion of this.
Absolutely.
And the partnership he has with the mayor and the rest of the team in North Olmsted. And when he brought this up, saying, Marty, this is very important, and
Right.
all the hard work and dedication you do, I had no problem throwing just get it to the finish line of the dollar amount.
Much
So
appreciated.
it's just not District 1, it's the entire council looking at it and supporting wonderful projects like this, an example of the good things we do with the ARPA dollars that the council can recommend. So
Thank you so much.
keep up the good work, and those are my comments, Madam Chairwoman.
Questions?
Madam Chair, through the chair, I just want to make a comment. I appreciate the good work you're doing and represent the Parma area as well, and that we have a lot of food scarcity, a lot of food needs. People are coming to these food pantries, understand the importance, appreciate the good work, and it's very necessary, especially if you're experiencing several power outages. Get this generator in place,
Absolutely.
not spoil the food that can help so many of your residents. So appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, I had one to Mr. Pinchak. What's the life of a generator?
It's a 5-year warranty, so in that 5 years, anything that goes wrong will be taken care of by the contractor. After that, it falls right onto our service department. But we're pretty excited and talking with PJ Hughes, who is the local electrician. He's very confident this will last, up to 20 to 25 years.
Without any further questions, any questions that you have, Mr. Pinchak?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity for the city and thank you guys.
I'll make a motion to move R2025-0002 to the full council under second reading. Is there a second?
Second.
They've been moved by Conwell, seconded by Castleberry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Madam Clerk, if you could read the next item into the record, please.
Resolution 2025-0046, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Western Reserve Ohio Chapter, the Links Foundation Incorporated, for the purpose of the Community Baby Shower Project from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Who is here to present today?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. Teresa Metcalf Beasley. I'm the president of the Western Reserve Chapter of the Links Incorporated.
Good afternoon, Balisa Turner Howard. I am the co-chair of the Community Baby Shower.
And if we may, show the video and then answer any other questions you might have, please. Thank you.
My name is Deshay. I'm from Cleveland, and I feel really good. Well, no, it's not my first child, but I didn't expect all this at a community baby shower.
So, thank you. This will be our third community baby shower, and it is open. I'm sorry.
Can't hear you too well.
My name is Deshay. I'm from Cleveland, and I feel really good.
Is that green
Can you
light
hear me
on?
now?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. So this will be our third year
third year, okay.
hosting the community baby shower. We do host it in the central neighborhood. It is open to all moms and their families who want to come out. Last year, actually, we offered an OBGYN, and many of the moms had not seen an OBGYN during their pregnancy. We had a general physician there, and we also had a dentist, and you saw that we also offered chair massages for the moms. So it's a full day of activities for the moms, the families, and also lunch was made available to everyone with our community partners. And if you would.
Sure. And just so some numbers, we had about 113 moms who were served. We also had 40 children. We had 30 other adult guests. We encouraged the moms to bring a support person with them. And that we also gave away diapers. We gave away bottles. We had some raffles for cribs, car seats, etc. And it was a really well-attended event. It was a well-supported event. We had quite a number of partners, including the Diaper Bank, Dress for Success, College Now, Metro Health, MedWorks, LeadSafe. I mean, the list goes on. And they were there on site with a table, some giving away other things like the food bank. They gave away food, but also we have some that helped afterwards. We received notice later that there were several referrals to mental health care professionals from that event, as well as one of the partners, Delta Sigma Theta, has a teen moms group, and they got quite a few moms who came to their group after the event. So we don't want to just make an impact on that day. We want to, have the impact be long-lasting, and we want to make sure that this community baby shower continues over the years, and that it gets bigger and better, and that we serve more and more moms. And each year that we've had it, we have served, I want to say, the first year we did it, we had about maybe 50 moms. This year we had 113. Next year, we hope we will continue to double and double and double. And the way that you know someone is engaged is, for me, that when we ask them to do a survey about what they got out of that event and what they wanted to do or how they felt about it, we got 104 surveys. So 113 moms came, we got 104 surveys. That's really, really good.
That's great.
That's excellent. And we took all of that information about what they're looking for, what they need, maybe something that we missed, and we're going to do that this year and do it bigger and better. That's all I got.
Is that all that you ladies would like to share? I'd like to open it up. Questions to my colleagues?
I'll take something if you don't mind. Madam Chairwoman, is it okay? Ladies, how are you?
Very good.
Madam Esquire, how are you?
Councilman Sweeney, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Very nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Well, Teresa's been a true public-private partner forever.
Thank you.
Great things. I don't know. I'm going to kind of throw 5 more at it because it's such a good thing, and see if my colleagues want to support me in that task. And anytime that she's part of something, I know it's good. So I'm just going to ask that to be considered.
Thank you.
We would appreciate
Shocking, huh?
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, I know what you do.
I appreciate it. Our
And-
chap, the
and
moms will
Councilman
appreciate
Sweeney,
it.
what was the increase?
5.
Okay. So what happens, ladies, is it will pass, hopefully, through committee, but the legislation will be amended to reflect the new amount, so you don't have to redo all the paperwork and
Thank you.
stuff like that. When it comes after, then you got a problem, because then you have to redo everything. So staff will do that, and it will be probably amended the night of council when it's ready to get passed.
Okay, thank you.
So now you will be 15,000 instead of 10. Councilman Hauser.
Just to echo Councilman to the chair, to the presenters, just to echo Councilman Sweeney's point, familiar with the great work you ladies do in the community. I don't have any money, but would love to jump on this as a sponsor. Anything I can do to help or assist, please let us know.
Thank you. And to the chair, to the councilman, we would love to have you attend. We would love to have all of you come out and meet the moms. Last year, Cleveland Police Department sent 2 officers over, and they stayed the entire event. And that was just so good, especially for the kids to be able to talk to the police officers. And they worked the event. They walked around and had a great time. So we will make sure you are invited.
And we'll put you to work.
Yes, we will.
Definitely to the chair, to the presenters, I would love to be there. I'm also interested, how do you guys get the word out to the community? What advertisements are?
So, funny you should ask. Actually, last year, Madam President and I went on WKYC. We did social media. We did WOVU. We put flyers up in the central neighborhood, libraries, churches, hospitals, wherever we could put them. So we sort of tried to do every avenue we could to get people there. Yep.
All right, that was one of my questions. So how much does it cost to run the program annually?
So in the past, we've had a budget of about $7,000, but we also receive donations. And that's the only way we really could do it. We got donations from the Diaper Bank. We have donations from our members, from other organizations, from, what is it called? March of Dimes. They've given us donations, and that's how we've been able to do this. But we also have had to cut some things that we couldn't do because we didn't have the budget. So in the past couple of years, it's been about $7,000.
Okay, and just wanted to know, was Birthing Beautiful Communities present?
Yes, they were one of our partners.
Always pushing for them. And my last question, when is the event? What month do you usually?
So it's always the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend.
So the Saturday before Mother's Day?
Correct.
Okay.
So last year was May 11th. This year, I don't know what 20, is it maybe May 12th? It's that Saturday.
It's May 10th.
May 10th.
And where, I know you said central neighborhood, but where?
Yes. In the past, we've held it at St. Vincent's. There's some things going on there where we cannot hold it there this year. So we will be at the Friendly Inn.
Okay,
Madam Chair.
all right, yes.
Thank you. I was actually going to ask the same question Ms. Conwell asked about your budget and what it costs to put the event on. So obviously, if it is an increase, that's going to be a great boost for you. I've seen the video. It looks like a great program you put on for the young mothers in the community. So all I can offer now too is, if you, with help of promotion and social media, if you reach out to us, I'm always happy to help promote that. So, thank you.
Seeing none, I'll ask someone to move this forward as second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Sweeney, seconded by Castleberry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank
You
you,
add my name,
ladies.
if you don't mind? Add my name, if you don't mind?
Add all of our names.
Yes, please add my name as well.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2025-0069, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for Medicaid home and community-based services for out-of-home placement and foster care services for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to March 31st, 2026, to add new providers, and for additional funds, excuse me, in the amount not to exceed $83,877,274.99, effective January 1st, 2025.
Good afternoon, David Merriman here on behalf of the Department of Health and Human Services. I want to first acknowledge that Marcos Cortez from the Division of Contract Administration and Performance is here. He'll be answering technical questions on the processing of this proposal, and Jackie Fletcher Director of the Division of Children and Family Services, as well as Karen Storman, the acting Deputy Director, will also be here to add quality. So I'll turn it over to Marcos, to Jackie in a second, to see if they would want to add to this presentation. I first want to acknowledge and express my gratitude to Council for approving the item last Tuesday on first reading suspension that enabled us to make payments on November and December invoices. That was a difficult issue, and I think we have learned a lot. I want to acknowledge Councilwoman Conwell's recommendation that we shift that contract to a March timeframe. I think will ensure that we don't have that problem again. And it's something we're going to look at with our homeless contracts and any other large value contract moving forward. I think lesson has been learned. I also want to take a second and just acknowledge that Councilwoman Conwell, Chair of the committee and Vice President, has shared some information or shared requests with Jackie Fletcher and asked that she provide a response to those questions late last week. I need to apologize. Jackie shared her responses with me on Friday. I was out of town. I was able to review her responses on Monday, and she and I needed to talk about the responses on Tuesday. So I know that she was late in getting her responses to the chair. That's on me. That's not on her. And I thought that I had to understand the information she was sharing. She had prepared it. She wanted to share it, but she needed to actually talk me through the responses. So I know that I'll let her speak to the nature of the questions. I will acknowledge we are requesting a significant increase here. We are in the midst of negotiations with a number of providers. So some of the providers presented here are still potentially in negotiation to get an adjustment in their rates. We don't want to get into too deep into that because we're in negotiations and don't necessarily want to show our hand. So this is a long list of providers. There are a lot of organizations here. They do important work for us. They are partners of ours. We understand they have business interests, they have needs, and our obligation is to partner with them effectively. That being said, we have the budget we have. We've made a request to have an increase and are grateful for this council for reviewing that request. The last thing I want to just acknowledge, I understand there's a question about specific providers on this list today. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions about that provider, either at the top or in the midst of the presentation. So Councilwoman Conwell, Chair, I just ask if you'd rather I address that now or that we get into the presentation and are able to address it as the presentation advances.
Yeah, we can continue on with the presentation.
Okay. So what I will do is I'm going to ask Marcos Cortez to come up with Jackie Fletcher. And what I'd like for them to do is just sort of walk you through the staging, where we are right now with our providers, where we are with our utilization, and any other salient points that they would want to share at this time.
Good afternoon, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services. I just want to give you an overview again of what the program is. This is our 10th amendment for this out-of-home care master services contract. The purpose of this contract is to contract with agencies and organizations that can provide licensed, high-quality out-of-home care in the least restrictive environment that will result in a positive physical, cognitive, behavioral, and social outcomes for the children placed. These organizations will provide quality therapeutic foster care, specialized foster care, group home care, independent living care, and residential care for children in the custody of DCFS so that youth may experience stability, safety, and a sense of well-being while receiving out-of-home care. So again, this is our 10th amendment for this contract. There are 75 vendors who will be providing services. This amendment extends the time through, again, next March 2026, and adds the additional funds that will allow us to pay those vendors through that time period. This is an option year that we are exercising, so this will be the last time that we will be able to extend this beyond March of 2026. So we will have to do a new procurement at some point this year for these services to extend it beyond this last time frame. Again, I'll leave it to Jackie to add any additional details.
Good afternoon, Jacqueline Fletcher, Director, Division of Children and Family Services. The only thing I really want to add is, first, I echo what Director Merriman said. Thank you for considering this item. It is vital to the care and well-being that we have to provide for our kids. We want to provide for our kids and our families. And so our providers play a vital role in our mission to make sure our kids are safe, well cared for, and that they're supported. The majority of our children are placed in a family-like setting, just wanted to add that, which includes a relative home, kinship home, or a foster home. So, yeah, over 2,100 kids that we have in our care currently. And so, again, this amendment allows us to, again, make sure that we are extending that time, so we are reducing the likelihood that we would get into any challenges with payment processing at the end of the year. So we're hoping to extend that through March of 26, and as well as just continue to keep our placement efforts moving. We have to make sure our kiddos are placed timely and efficiently, and so just want to make sure we're here to answer any questions that you all may have.
Right. One question I have for Marcos is, how did we get to the 10th Amendment?
If I could answer, just if I could add one point before Marcos answers that question, please. I think on the question of procurement, we shared we need to do a procurement this year. It does speak to the 10th Amendment. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, in the governor's budget on Monday, they proposed the state doing a procurement that may have an impact on what we procure in the future. So I just want to pause on that because we've said we need to do an amendment. And as is always is the case, the timing on that is critical. We need to get something out, but we're going to have to watch to see what happens at the state level, as the state may step in and do a procurement that could have an impact on this. And I think giving us, switching this contract to a March start date is actually going to give us time to allow some of the state process to play out. I want Marcos to speak to why we're on number 10.
The original time frame, the start time of this contract was January 1st, 2022, and it ran for 2 years. So we extended it one time for 2024, and now we're extending it again for 2025. But during that time frame, we're also adding new vendors. So when we add a new vendor, we have to do an amendment to add that vendor. We actually originally started with 57 vendors, and at one point we were up to 79. So now we're back down to 75.
Any questions for Marcos?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and it had something to do with Director Merriman's comments. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marcos. Thank you, Director. I know the county has a tremendous amount of care for the children, and their focus is on their well-being. We have 73 providers plus one new, but Channel 5 over the summer reported that one of them, somewhat disturbing, had an incident, and they're on the list again. And I'm just curious, I know nobody takes this job more serious than you and your whole team, but when it's reported in the public and people call me and say, Sweeney, it looks like they're getting a contract again, can you give us self-assurance or reassurance that the children that are in our custody or care are being taken care of through the chair?
Sure. So I think the matter you're referring to involved an allegation of abuse by an employee within a setting, one of our out-of-home care settings. This was an allegation. That employee left that organization. There was an investigation by the state. The organization still has their license with the state, and we've included them in our contract. I do want to also acknowledge this is a facility that's located within Cuyahoga County. Any child that's placed in that facility gets a monthly visit by us. So we are in the home, we're seeing what's going on, and this is a matter we take very seriously, and our staff are aware of the concerns. We've talked to the state about it. It's clearly a matter that we track that, but we track every home. Mm-hmm. We're concerned about the safety of every single child and every single placement. And I don't know if Jackie, Director Fleischer would want to add anything.
She doesn't have to add anything. She doesn't want, but it's just the word allegation compared to what was visually seen on TV. That's what heightened it. So it wasn't an allegation. It was actually an incident that was caught on tape that was somewhat disturbing. It was addressed. The person's not there anymore. This company's probably doing a great job still, but I wanted to get the update from you
We take these
Because-
matters very seriously.
I know that.
We investigated, the state investigated. We're going to continue to monitor every home, including this home.
And we have the full faith and confidence they're going to continue providing good service for the children.
That's our
in custody.
expectation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
To the chair, to the speaker, I have a question, and forgive my newness, but what criterias are used to select new vendors or new providers under this contract?
So the providers that we solicit or that solicit to us all have to be licensed, right? So the state has a licensing criteria for quality assurances that includes their ability to provide the clinical resources, their staffing levels, the oversight and supervision for kids, all of the homes that are licensed through the state for foster care. There's a select criteria, and I can send to the committee for additional educational purposes. But yes, there are quality assurance indicators that all of the providers have to meet. And it's called, what is it? Goodness, I'm blanking, Karen. I may have to call Karen Storman, our deputy director, up for a little bit more context. But all of the vendors have to meet minimum standards. And we look for, again, additional quality assurances. I just want to assure the committee that any concerns that are raised, as the director, I hold fast to my heart. And I've gone out personally and met with vendors and met with our kids in the spaces to make sure that they're receiving the care and support that they deserve. And so, again, making sure at a minimum they're meeting those standard expectations for quality. And then above and beyond, we're listening to our kids and making sure our families can have some input as well as to what they want to see.
Just a super quick follow-up question. As the county, do we ever solicit vendors, or does everyone just bid and then we determine from there?
So again, we have some opportunities to look across the state to see what's being provided for like services across our state. And if there are vendors providing services, let's say in the southeast region, that we don't have, but they're providing good care for our kids, we may reach out and say, hey, here's an opportunity. If you have capacity, we would love to partner with you. Our kids deserve those same quality services here in Cuyahoga County. And so, yes, we do reach out. A lot of them do reach out to us. They know we have kids that need those services and care. And so, yes, we will do some of that collectively.
Right, any other questions?
I actually had a question, a couple of questions. As someone that has a lot of experience in this space, I've mentioned before I've adopted a child through the foster care system. It can be incredibly cumbersome to navigate in a number of capacities. My first question is, obviously, foster families are at a premium, and we know that there's a significant need. So what types of steps are being taken to court new or potential foster families that exist outside of kinship or other types of placement? I'll start there.
Oh, great question, and thank you for what you do and what you have done. We have so many kids, unfortunately, that need a family. So we're constantly retweaking and retooling our recruitment efforts. Again, focusing on kinship caregivers. We know that that's a need for kids to be able to stay within the family unit, folks that are familiar with them and their needs, stay in the same school districts and, in the same, community that they've grown up in. So we're doing some work there to recruit our caregivers, foster homes as well, just making sure we're listening. We see a lot of word of mouth that our foster homes, our foster caregivers are sharing within their spaces. So we've asked them, what else should we be doing to get the word out? What's the need? There's a lot of sort of angst around caring for kids who come through our child welfare or child protection systems. And there's some myths out there that kids are going to show up different than other kids that we see in our communities. Again, a lot of our kids do have some trauma histories, so what we're doing is helping to train and teach them on those trauma histories, making sure they understand that healing can happen anywhere with anybody, and it takes that engagement, that person who can get on a child's level and just, one, ask them maybe what happened to them versus why they're behaving the way they're behaving. And so, again, we have a recruitment strategy that's working on various fronts to make sure we're in the community, meeting with families, meeting with our community providers, asking about funding, resources that they would need. We're hearing a lot of training, and then we're also hearing they want respite. So they want to have options that give them a break, like any other parent, right? And so those are some of the things that we're doing, but it can, again, when I send over updates on the requirements for our vendors and providers, I can also send over some information on our recruitment strategies.
That would be fantastic. Thank you for that. And then, my second question is maybe more of a cultural question surrounding, permanency. So when we think about DCFS and, a cultural hat that could be worn, is there more of a focus on reunification for these children or adoption? And I know that this can be case specific, but I know in my own experience, when you look at reunification statistics, in many instances, the numbers are pretty dire. I used to live in Denver, Colorado, and the individual that oversaw that, out of 700 cases in 1 year that she worked with, she had 2 instances of reunification, which is a terrible, terrible record. Can you speak to the focus of your organization in terms of permanency? Are we focusing on reunification and all of the pieces surrounding those families, or are we focusing on adoption of those kids?
So permanency is the plan from the beginning. We're talking permanency throughout the life of a case. But I'll start with, or I'll go back just to say, prevention is also a focus. So we are working really hard and diligently to get out in the community, educate the community on, the safety of kids, how to keep our kids safe together with their families. A lot of times we hear in these spaces, poverty brings a lot of families to our doors. We're trying to reduce those barriers for families so that we're not removing children for poverty-related challenges or, challenges where there's just a need for support in the home or education. And so that's an area that we're keenly focused on, is the prevention space. But when we're talking about permanency, if I have to remove a kid from their family of origin, we're constantly, from day one, working with that family to reunify, to eliminate the barriers, the risks, improve the parents' or the caregivers' safety capacities to meet those children's needs. And then if those unfortunately can't be met, and again, we deserve, our kids deserve a permanent family. So then we're transitioning, and again, it's kind of concurrent planning. So we have to keep that in mind that, should something happen where a family cannot reunify for whatever reason, that we are still working a permanency plan to get that child a family. They deserve that. And so the permanency is throughout the life of the case from day one.
If I may, to the chair, is there an additional consideration given in terms of time? Because I know, again, this is a different state from what I experienced in Colorado, but there would be a year. And there were benchmarks at 6 months, at 9 months with biological families and their ability to proceed, right? Whereas my own experience in this state and in this region is that it's a little bit more gray, that outside of a certain parameter, we can shift the time frame, which I think adds confusion to the permanency plan, generally speaking. So can you speak a little bit about time frames associated with permanency?
We're typically trying to stick within that 12-month timeframe. However, we are able to extend those timeframes for caregivers that may need additional time to complete a class, a service, a program. Again, families are relying on so many different entities to assist in those efforts to meet those case plan goals. And so again, should a parent have a battle with getting into a service provider, right? And we've struggled with some of that previously, currently. We want to make sure that we're giving them every opportunity to get their needs met and again, be able to safely care for their children. And so extensions are often granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And thank
you.
you for the work that your organization does. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Director, I just wanted to, kind of just in listening to that dialogue, so kind of if we had to put it into a steps of housing that a child could do, it would be reunification first. Kinship care should be, I guess, number 2, if we could get the child with family. And then number 3 would be, I guess, foster care / adoption. And then if all of those failed, then they would come to our wellness campus. Is that kind of?
So it's complicated and often based on the needs of the child. So based on the need that the child presents and the family presents, we're looking at least restrictive options. And those least restrictive options often include, again, how you laid that out, those steps, right? You know, how do we keep the child safe? If we can do that safely with their family, we're doing that. If we have to remove, we're having that family at the table and that kinship care provider is providing that care, or that foster caregiver is providing that care. Should that child's needs be sort of at a place where we're looking at some critical clinical supports, behavioral health or mental health services, then we're transitioning that child into maybe a congregate care setting that may include a residential provider or something of that sort. And so, yes, that child wellness campus that we're looking at, the Hope Campus, developing that out, would be a provider that would be providing that clinical-based behavioral mental health services that a child would need on that campus. But we're hoping to also have those front door options available so that we can rapidly reunify kids at the front door, so that we can help identify those kinship caregivers or relatives at the front door, so we're not delaying permanency for a child.
I'm going to redirect us off of that into questions that I have provided your office with in terms of this contract, basically in terms of this contract. So I know we met prior to this contract coming before us. And the 3 main things that was discussed in the meeting was the length of contracts. I think these were the issues. Leveraging reimbursable funding from the state, and then having all vendors brought up to the same rates. So those are the questions that were presented to your office. I'll just have you go over question 2 and question 4. The other questions were for my internal knowledge.
Thank you so much. The question that was asked around the vendors, so again, to clarify, there are 75 vendors being presented for this amendment, Amendment 10, to include new vendors that we've brought into, or bringing into the master agreement. The next question around our rates, we did an exhaustive sort of analysis of our statewide rate comparison data. So we're able to look at across the state to see what services are being provided for, like care for kids across the entire state. And so to identify our high priority or frequency use placements, we did that analysis, and we wanted to make sure that the rates that we are agreeing to is in line with the state medians. We haven't been able to do that prior to currently, which I'm very pleased that we have a team in place that can do some of this ask that, you know, we need to continue to work through some of this, having access to this data. But as we looked at the frequency of use of providers, the rates that they have, we were able to see that we were significantly lower than the state medians. So we've been, you know, reimbursing our providers lower than what they are able to provide care for a child in the Franklin region or in the Summit County area. And so the rates that we're considering are really much in line with the other per diems for these same services that they're providing across the state. And I do believe another question that was asked included the 15-month contract. And so again, we're working with all of the vendors currently for the Amendment 10 contract to make sure that we're getting signatures signed off on, you know, bringing everybody to the table. We had a meeting with our vendors just yesterday to make sure we went over where we are in this stage of the process, that it was coming to committee today, just reassuring them that we're continuing to work through efficiencies to make sure we can do payment processing timely, get these amendments through as quickly as we can, reviewing rates and things of that nature.
Any other questions for them? Okay. So as was discussed, we will we'll definitely leave this in committee until the other questions are answered and information is provided for. You guys don't have a problem with that, do you?
No,
All right, so in terms for my colleagues, this will not present another financial conundrum in any way because we're still waiting on vendors to sign. This won't start until March, and we passed emergency payments for all the vendors in November, December, and January, once the invoices are done, should not have any problem. So we have plenty of time to vet this through this committee. We have to pass.
Just, Committee Chair, just want to acknowledge this contract will start January 1, and it won't close until March of 2026, but it does begin January 1.
All right, so any other information anyone like to add? I'll make a motion to move R20250069 to the full council under second reading. Oh, no, we're keeping it in committee. Sorry. I'm so used to my role. So we will keep it in committee. Do I have, everybody's okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any miscellaneous business? No miscellaneous business for anyone? All right, meeting is adjourned.